Hey you, I've just spent a lazy Sunday afternoon binging some Forged Battalion, a real-time strategy game that's just came out in early access by the same developers behind other RTS smash hits like Star Wars Empire at War and Grey Do, and hey, I liked it. It's pretty good. Forged Battalion is a standard RTS, mechanics-wise. You build structures, you train units, you keep training units, you harvest materials, you build generators to power buildings, you train some more units, you build a few turrets, and then you go and shoot the enemy so much they become jam. So far, so Command and Conquer. But, hey, don't let that come across like a negative, because the foundations here are rock solid. For an early access game that only came out this month, Forged Battalion is a very capable RTS that gets all the fundamental cornerstones of the genre just right. Base building is fun, commanding units is fun, decimating an enemy base with an overwhelming amount of units is as downright satisfying as you'd expect from a game like this. Holy shit! As far as homages of Command and Conquer though, Forged Battalion has all the staple elements you'd expect polished and fine-tuned already. Speaking of elements you'd expect, there's a robust online multiplayer mode that supports ranked play with up to 8 people, or you can play offline with bots, which to be honest is where I've spent most of my time, because despite years of playing Dawn of War and Command and Conquer as a teenager, I'm still not cut out for actual online play with real people who'll defeat me and make me cry. You can even make your own maps and share them on the Steam Workshop. It's all good stuff. So what makes Forged Battalion different, I hear you asked? What separates it from the crowd? Well, I'll tell you, just, calm your farm. So, whereas most classic RTS games like Command and Conquer and Warcraft feature multiple distinct factions, each with their own visual style, buildings and unit types, Forged Battalion allows you to make your own. This, initially, seems like a really interesting feature, but to say it's implemented poorly would be an understatement. Units can be given unique abilities, but said abilities are unlocked via this monstrosity of a tech tree, using currency which is earned in tiny amounts when completing skirmishes and campaign missions, making unlocking everything a slow and miserable grind. Once you have these abilities, they aren't even that interesting. Also, they make zero difference to a unit's visual design either, resulting in every player's personalised faction looking, well, exactly the same. Just one big homogeneous blob of 4 bland looking unit types. It's quite disappointing. And this is by far and large the game's biggest flaw. The idea of customising your own personalised faction is a really neat idea, but this over-complicated, grindy way of doing so just isn't fun. It's fiddly and it's frustrating. It also doesn't help that this is how the game teaches you how to use this section. Look at the absolute state of this. Jesus. It's a shame that this idea is such a fundamental part of the experience, especially considering that it's been implemented to the detriment of other, more well-established mechanics of the genre. Dawn are upgradable buildings that would allow you to alter a unit's abilities during a match, giving you the opportunity to adapt to an enemy's army on the fly, instead replaced with menus that you spend time in outside of the game. It's weird. Moving forward, I hope developer Petroglyph seriously reconsiders how the faction creation system works. In no way am I saying that this has to be cut out completely in order to improve the game, not at all. It just needs a serious overhaul in order to make it more accessible and visually engaging. I have no real idea how, to be honest. I'm not a game developer, I'm an idiot who makes videos for YouTube. Just make it, not this, because this ain't good. Whilst I'm whinging, the UI in general is a bit pants and very unintuitive. For instance, when you select a large group of units, there's no visual indication in the UI of what you currently have selected, at all, which is an irritating oversight to be honest. Also, unit variety could do with being fleshed out a bit more, and hey, why not add things like patrol routes and additional unit commands? That might be quite nice. Oh, and the campaign is no good. It only has a few levels, which is fine, it's in early access at the end of the day, but what is there contains terrible voice acting that can't even be passed off as a homage to classic Command and Conquer campaigns. It's that bad.
Retake it, soldier, and if you can't, then blow it up. Better destroy than in rebel hands.
Also, the difficulty spike shoots right up to the moon on the second level, to the point where it seemed like a huge task to complete it even on the easiest difficulty setting. This needs work. Put work into this bit. Cheers. Look, I know I sound like I'm being pretty down on Forged Battalion, but I really want to end this video on a positive note because it's been a long time since I've played an RTS with this much potential. When Forged Battalion gets things right, it gets them perfectly right. The satisfaction of destroying an enemy base with a bucket full of units is an exhilarating feeling. The crisp graphics, well-designed maps, and absolutely cracking soundtrack which evokes memories of early 2000 RTS titles all work together to create a rock-solid experience that's brilliant fun. But fiddly, grindy faction creator, a miserable proof of concept for a campaign, and a few Tor elements that feel a little bit too stripped back made for a game that, in its current state, is a difficult thing to recommend. If you're desperate to play a modern day Command and Conquer and are willing to overlook some pretty hefty flaws at the Tor with the vague hope that in 6 months time these will be ironed out, then Forged Battalion is a great game you should definitely try. Otherwise, maybe just wait. I sincerely hope that when I revisit Forged Battalion later in the year, I find an RTS game that swallows up my free time just like the classics it takes influence from did a decade ago. Anyway, let's end with Tim Curry shouting space from Red Alert 3 because I love that clip and it feels relevant enough to use it.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Lovely.